Into the Play the Fight Song College Football Show. Another week to talk college football is here. First time joining the show, make sure you hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button to the channel. We appreciate you being here more than you know. Studio,
what's up, Jack?
All the boys are here. Reese, Jake, JP, myself, we're here to talk you through another week of college football. We have more news, gentlemen. We have an awesome offseason topic to discuss tonight with the 24-team college football playoff and its possibilities. And, of course, our beautiful college football question of the week, which we want you to be a part of. So make sure you're in the comments, letting us know you're here. Like I said, like the video, subscribe to the show. Gents, how we doing tonight? Jake, you're up first.
GA, you got a treadmill? GA is already chiming in.
GA,
you my run.
You got to knock it out in the morning, in the early.
GA, running is overrated. Walking is fine.
Yeah,
walking is fine. Go walk for an hour.
We have a co-host on this show who is here from time to time, and JT. He's big into running, and he hurt his foot trying to get back into it, preparing for a marathon.
Running for nothing.
Nah, I'm just kidding, JT. Keep grinding. I want to say I'm doing great, by the way. I think I have finally how long we've been doing this show, fellas? 3 years, 3.5 years.
This is their third off season.
Yeah.
We're talking about this specific
play the fight song. Yep. And I feel like I've finally mastered a mic and a laptop and a podcast setup, as you can tell.
Yeah, you bought new shit.
Look at that. A week later, we have the poster now framed here. Looks absolutely gorgeous. There's a little bit of space here, but you don't want to just throw something up there. It's got to have good meaning and be special.
Just in new stuff better than old stuff.
So
1% better every day. That's all we can ask for here to Play the Fight.
Except for
I think 2026, I think, is going to be just have a good feeling about it. It's going to be special.
It is. All right.
JP
I like that. A little positive vibe.
JP was sitting on that line. Just want everybody to know that. That's just went under the rug right there. JP
I actually like that. I actually
was really proud of that line right there. He was really proud of that.
I appreciated that.
But how does it sit on it? That's quick and witty.
Reese, how you doing tonight? 4K again. Beautiful camera. How we doing?
We're good. Me and JP went and played our first 9 of the year. I was wearing shorts. Everybody else thought it was too cold. They couldn't wear shorts. I'm out there. We had a good time. I asked you guys before if you believe I said I shot a 48, but I shot a 10 on the last hole. So par five's confirmed not my friend to start the year, but everything else was pretty good. But we had a good day.
So you were that guy in shorts that you're like, look at this guy. I mean,
I wore shorts all week.
It wasn't even cold. It's 60-some degrees out.
Oh, I don't think I wouldn't have made fun of anybody.
I wore the lightweight Fabletics type pants. You know, they're not.
You'd have been fine in pants. You also had fine in shorts.
They were good.
You're an athlete.
Everybody knows the Midwest hard of.
In case you needed to run, he was running.
When it's 30 degrees and you see some guy walking into Target and he's got like shorts and a t-shirt on, you're like, that just can't be enjoyable. Like as tough as you may want to be. Yeah, I just will never understand the point of that. JP, how'd you shoot? Did you play well?
I was okay. I got to figure out the chipping. That's always been my bugaboo. My best shot of the day, I didn't even get to see because I hit it directly into the sun, and me and Reese had no clue where it went.
Yeah, we both lost it immediately.
and so we just
You
drove
just
up there
found
and
it on the
sit
fairway?
right next to the green. Yeah,
Right,
Oh.
sitting
no,
right
it
on
was
the
a
fridge. It's pretty
second
disgusting.
shot.
Somebody else's
but
ball.
Didn't see it.
Just keeps
Was
reeling you
not
back in.
confirmed. Was not. But yeah, I mean, we got to get a little bit better. But we're playing 9 holes in February, so we're not going to complain about that. I will say, this college football question today is great, but I just want to know Chipotle, Qdoba, Poncheros.
I
We've
feel
been
like
waiting
we've had this conversation. Like we've had this.
That's
on this
I
I
podcast.
know. I just know Jake hates it, so it's funny.
No,
I couldn't
It's
even tell you the
fine.
main. I couldn't tell you the main difference between like all three of them. Like what would make
I'm sure.
like,
it's
like,
their
does
seasonings
does
and
does
stuff.
Poncheros have like a signature like dip or whatever something?
Qdoba,
Like
you
what-
can
I don't know
get.
how long.
Help me out here. Qdoba, you can get queso for free, correct?
Yeah, used to at least. I don't know if they still do that.
The
sure that's still
the double protein at Qdoba is way cheaper than it is at Chipotle. Quality at Chipotle, you get what you pay for, but they've had a little bit of a bad rep because of the serving size, and I don't blame people for being upset about that.
I don't audit them enough to know like the difference between all three of them.
I don't think there's a
The answer
difference
is
between
Chipotle, by the
Poncheros
way.
and Qdoba. Yeah, it's Chipotle. Like there's not a difference
Qdoba.
between Poncheros or Qdoba. There's not a difference.
There's
There's
a
a difference with Chipotle.
Is Poncheros
You've
like a
been to
Midwest thing?
No, I don't think so.
Is it
That's
a
a great
national
question.
I think
thing?
they're all national
Is it a
brands. aren't
national
they?
thing?
I don't know.
I have no. I don't think I've ever gone out to like when we went to Arizona or whatever. I don't think we ever saw.
Jackson's from he's in Alabama and
Qdoba.
Texas, so we could have a couple of opinions here on if they've ever heard of Poncheros.
Chime in, boys. You ever heard of
Also,
Poncheros
like,
down there?
I don't also want to be that guy.
Not
but
always.
the
Not
couple of-
Whataburger and In-N-Out.
Couple of minimal cutouts there from Jake's mic. So right after he gave that,
Just
that
jinxing
would be.
it, of
I'm
course.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right.
You're
the
the
answer
worst.
is Chipotle.
But I think this type of food is more dependent on the location because this Poncheros next to me is like the world's worst Poncheros that's ever.
That's
walked
true,
here.
too.
And Chipotle is pretty good.
I don't
And
think they
then
have
like
Poncheros.
Qdoba,
in
there's only
Omaha.
one in Des Moines. I don't know, man.
You don't
I
have
think I
location
lean Qdoba.
I can't confirm locations big because I'm a big scooters guy, and the scooters right next to me I've been there twice, and it's been dog water, so it's kind of depressing.
It is. Different
Make
spot
your
to
own
spot. I
coffee
have
at
like a
home.
Chipotle I'll
Matters.
go out of the
It
way
matters.
for because
I don't go there for
the
that. I go
I feel
there
like
for my little
everybody has
protein
that.
smoothie shake, my little sweet treat. So I get
All
there.
right, let's get back on
My little
track. Let's
sweet
talk college
Jimmy's just
football.
Reese's just rattling down there.
Yes, I think Reese is like a hamster gets going on the wheel. Like once he kind of has
Yeah.
thoughts, they're gonna get out. Whether you're talking, Dude, we're
It's kind of relevant.
I did actually have a funny thing today. I was on a walk with the dog a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I'll listen to an old show because Reese sent that video of like when we were originally doing It's Just Money, and I was like, I'll go listen to one of those old ones.
Oof. Oh.
It's rough, but I was laughing at myself a lot because I was trying to act like I knew a lot more than I did. And so like my tone would change and how I would say something would change. And I go, this guy doesn't know shit from shit. Just
Yeah.
listen to it.
I used to be a hockey expert. You guys remember that?
Yeah. We had three of us huddling around one of these blue ball snow microphones.
If you're on the show for the first time and that's Play the Fight song and you're on the YouTube, you definitely can't find it. But if you listen to us on replay on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, if you scroll down far enough, they're there. And this used to be called It's Just Money. It was for college idiots
Who
just
had no money.
spewing terrible bets. I mean, $5, betting $5 a night and just telling you to put your mortgage on it. And we meant it. But it's been a lot different and a lot has changed. And we're talking college football now, college football only. So let's talk college football, gentlemen. Let's go into the question of the week, which is a good one. And there we could get various answers here. I think we'll have a couple maybe that go across the board. But what is your top 3 college football bucket list games? So not stadiums you want to get to,
Okay.
but games.
That was
Could
my
be
question.
rivalries, could just be good matchups. What games stand out to you, Jake?
Is he giving all 3 or are we going?
Is he
No,
going?
I'll
is he
do, I'll
going
do
round
one.
robin?
I'll
Yeah,
just
let's
do
go one around the horn.
Third Saturday in October is Jackson would probably
Tennessee,
appreciate that one.
Alabama.
Yep.
It has become probably my favorite rivalry in the sport. I don't really know why. I mean, Heupel has made Tennessee a lot more relevant, and it's
South Dakota.
that's true
The
too. Between
Dakoters.
DeBoer and Heupel for the Battle of South Dakota, right? I don't know. I just think that the competitive level of that rivalry the last 5 years has been really great, and it just each time it delivers, whether it's in Tuscaloosa or Knoxville. I don't have a preference on where I would go. Honestly, I think
that's what I was about to ask. Do you have a preference? I think I would love to hear Dixieland Delight, but I think I'd rather watch the game in Knoxville.
I think both places would be special. So that's another reason why I have it on my list. Is I would be good with either going to one of those places.
Would you go as a fan of the home team, or would you smoke a cigar either way?
I think I'm smoking a cigar either way. I think you just
if
kind
the
of
home team
wins, right?
But you got to go neutral clothing then, because you can't go into
right.
I'm putting a large bet on the home team.
I suppose you'd say I'm rooting for the home team then.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. If I'm going as just a not like Nebraska's not playing, I'm cheering for whatever home team there is.
Sure,
unless like the person I traveled with is a fan of the away team, then I can kind of join there. So there's different levels to it, but I think that's a good one to start with. Third Saturday in October. Would that be your number 3, or is that no particular order?
That would be probably number 1 for me. I had a hard time coming up with 3. That was the first one that came to my mind. I don't have necessarily a 3, 1, 2, 3, but that was the first one for me. So yeah, sure, put it in my number 1.
JP.
Well, I can do my number 1, but I had Third Saturday in October on my list. 1-1 for me, Rose Bowl, the Rose Bowl game. That's probably a little Big Ten bias. It's probably like the idea of it bias, a little bit of the stadium too, but like the actual Rose Bowl.
It's pretty
game
elitist of you.
That doesn't hurt my feelings. It sounds as advertised, and every time the game's
Sunset sounds pretty cool.
They talk about like it's always as cracked up to be out there for that game in the atmosphere. And so you lose a little bit of the atmosphere of being on campus or, like a ton of things to do around the stadium. But that right there in and of itself that's what I would want to go to. That's 1-1 for me.
Not to change the subject, but is UCLA playing in SoFi Stadium this year? Is that confirmed? I haven't seen anything on that recently.
I haven't even heard that.
I can't say I had heard that either, but either way, 60% capacity sounds good to me. Reese, your first choice.
I'm gonna go with a little bit of home one here, but I'm gonna go Army Navy. I think first one for me would be that. It's end of the year. It's a standalone. It's usually in one of those NFL stadiums. It's its own spot. Like give me that.
What if I told you guys?
I'm not a cold guy.
It doesn't matter. I'd make it work.
I get paid to be in the cold, and I can scream "Go Army, beat Navy" all day.
I am on a wait list. I got a connection to that game, and he says I'm the first one he calls if he ever has an extra ticket.
Here's another source from Jake. Everybody,
Jake's just
this is a real one. This is a real source. He goes every year. He's actually a veteran, so thank you, John, for your service.
We've got
shout out, John. Thank you, John.
We've got one of those.
Yeah, we do have one of those, and he's an Army guy too. And he says if he ever
gets
an extra ticket between his buddies, he's calling me.
Yeah, I'm sure buddies are giving up that ticket all the time. I'd stay right next to your phone.
Well, I'm not going to say that on the podcast, but I'll tell you. Yeah, never mind. Keep going.
Way to make it weird. For my first one, I'll go a little different. Army Navy was definitely on my list. It's one that I think, as an American and a college football fan, everybody should have. But JP, I might do it. I'm like trying to say it in my head right now, but I could stumble. The Red River rivalry would be one that I would like to attend.
Okay.
Red River rivalry.
Yeah, it was close. I was hunting wabbits for a second, but that game, I don't know. It just sticks out to me. I think being at the Cotton Bowl, but I think that is an okay neutral location. Not that I would prefer it. I think I'd still rather have those games on campus, but being where that is in Dallas. Yes. So I will take that game as one that I would really like to get to. And maybe that's just stemmed from a nostalgic hatred for both of those programs, but watching them fight each other would be ideal in my situation. Jake?
This only implies to this year, and maybe it'll be great in years to come, but it's got to be this year, and unfortunately there's no way I'm making it, but a bucket list would be Ole Miss LSU this year in Oxford. If Trinidad gets he gets his appeal, I'll tell you, lowest it's going right now, $500, and that's obviously it's in February. A lot of pre-sale stuff hasn't come out yet, but I don't imagine that changing. I think that game I'd die to be at that game this year. That would be phenomenal.
I mean, $500. You're saying your life's worth $500. I mean, you could go 500. It's not that bad.
That's true.
Ticket to the national championship this year was
$30.
Yeah, $500 ain't not bad at all. But that would be an electric game to be at. JP, your next choice.
Brawl the Wild.
Yes.
Either spot. I have that on there. Just it's a little bit different, right, compared to like some of the bigger schools we talk about, but it doesn't feel like it's the actual rivalry and the hatred and the true meaning behind that rivalry is any different than whatever game you want to throw up against it. So outline that one there, especially now, right? Where they just keep seeing their competitors bump up and you're like, this really is the two, heads of the beast that is the FCS.
It's a good one.
That game is like the FCS equivalent of what the like mid 90s Big 12, Big 8 and Big 12 became of Oklahoma, Nebraska, where it was basically like that team who wins that game is going to the national title. It typically worked out that way because it's so late in the year, and it's insane how those fan bases are to each other.
And it like truly home field advantage, a double bye, and the Big Sky title pretty much every year.
It's awesome. That's a great pick. Reese, your next choice.
So I feel like every single one of these is going to have to be a rivalry. And I'm going with one where they were just huge rivals in this conference and now maybe not as much in this conference. But I think Oregon and Washington would be a great football game to go to. I think regionality for it would be – because we're all going to pick a rivalry here because if you're going to go to a game, like you want there to be more than just a football game at the line. So it's like, yeah, I think Oregon and Washington, we remember that game or those – two games from a couple of years ago with like Bo Nix going against Kalen DeBoer and Michael Penix. Like those were football games that came down to a kick. Even this year, they were great football games. Like I put them down on that list because I think Husky Stadium or Alton, both places are going to be extremely loud for that football game.
Mm-hmm. I think that is one of the more underrated and underwatched rivalries of the sport. It like those two fan bases go at each other as much as Michigan and Ohio State do on Twitter. Mm-hmm. I think Jed Fish sent a tweet out the other day on Josh Pate's college football power rankings or rankings in college football. And he was like, okay, noted. And everybody in the response was Oregon fans like, shut up, Jed, you guys suck. And it's just over and over again. And that hatred is what causes games for neutral fans to be at. And I 100% agree. That was my next pick too. So the fight for the forest, definitely on my list. I think I'd rather attend it in Seattle over Eugene. Not that there's anything wrong with Eugene or it's not as great as an atmosphere.
It would be cool with the port right there.
Yeah. Awesome stadium in Seattle. Any honorable mentions out there?
I was going to say third Saturday in October, I had third on my list. Mine would just be the Lone Star Showdown. That's back. Right. Yeah. That's on campus at A&M or Texas. I'd probably prefer it at Kyle Field just because I want to see that a little more. But that's an honorable mention. The game, obviously, Ohio State, Michigan, probably needs to be on your list, either place. And then just the national title in general, wherever it may be. I
don't know. I've had this debate, and this could be one of the offseason talking points. I think if Nebraska ever made the national title, would you rather watch it in person? Let me just frame it this way. This could be next week's question. Would you rather watch it in person or in your home state?
I think that I'm home state, like in a bar in town. Like I think unfortunately, I think the national title is becoming more Super Bowl like, and I have no ambition. I would rather go to a semifinal game or maybe even a home playoff game. In that instance, I'm not a big, like this year it was in Miami. Indiana fans sold it out and the tickets are just crazy. Like I don't have and it's who's who at the national title. Yeah. Great. I'd love for my team to play in a national title, but I'm with you, Parks. Like I would rather go celebrate in Ames because if you win, you go and run the streets. Like you have great time in that town with a bunch of people who cheered for the same team. Where like, what's the party like if you win and
probably wherever the national school, wherever you want it to be.
You ain't partying at the Rose Bowl. You got to drive 45 minutes to get to a safe part of town.
I even know like at Indiana and Miami this year, you had to get like a special ticket to go into the team hotel to celebrate with them and stuff like that. And it's like, where else are you going then if you're celebrating? Yeah. There was a lot of people down there. I'm sure Indiana fans grabbed a bar and celebrated, but like, I think it's kind of overrated in that point. I'm with you, Parks. I'd rather celebrate in a hometown.
It'd be a nightmare trying to get a table at a bar here for that, especially because it's 2 weeks ish.
Even if you host and then go out afterward, though, I think it would be.
I couldn't host.
Because I remember, believe me, you see this hat? I've heard the stories. I've heard that everybody would watch it at their house. You'd host a party, and then everybody would go to 72nd and Dodge, and they had to close like 3-mile radius around it because there was just 200,000 people drinking and partying in the middle of this street. Like I think you could host, and then I don't know if I'd want to watch it at a bar. Can you imagine being an away fan at a bar in that situation?
I've done a
Iowa State, whoever lingering
don't
around.
go.
I did an Iowa State watch party at a bar for the Iowa game when they won in 21, and that's a lot of fun. Actually,
That's
I know
a good rivalry, not quite the equivalent, but I'll hear.
No, I'm just saying like a big game where you got together in a bar and then everybody ran out on Welch and partied. It was
ran out on Welch after winning that game.
Beating Iowa, yeah, you making it sound a little Super Bowl-ish. Little
No
Super Bowl.
It up.
That wouldn't have common either. You're just gonna dig your hole deeper.
Yep.
I
was waiting for that too, JP.
Man, JP just goes to bed after Iowa beats Iowa State. He's just another game to him. He's like, yeah, I can do that.
Game better be over 10.
He just goes to bed. That's how he celebrates.
What I'm not doing is storming Welch or storming Melrose.
Oh, we were already on. We were on Welch where the game was. Yeah.
So you all ran outside.
My third one
partied and hugged and like, we did it.
Holy War.
Holy War is a great choice.
That's my third pick.
I thought Chip was going to go there.
I'll close the national championship conversation before we move to the Sac State joining the FBS with saying, and you can quote me on this. I don't care if you live there, if you have family there, if you were born and raised in Thorough. If Nebraska plays in the national title and I was offered a free ticket, I would go unless it was in New Orleans. Then you couldn't pay me to go. You couldn't. We're
never going to get New Orleans listeners on the show. It's just never going to happen.
I wouldn't go
rotation anymore, is it?
Yeah, it is. I guarantee it is.
This is Sugar Bowl.
It'll go back. It'll go back someday.
It shouldn't be.
Honorable mention for like our listeners and the podcast that we are, like the MAC championship would be fun to go to, and just for Schaefer's sake, the Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve. Just the greatest, most important game of all time.
I can't believe I didn't pick that one, Reese.
I was like, shit, I'm gonna go there.
Like Hawaii playing in a Hawaii Bowl is definitely an honorable mention. That's a fantastic honorable mention.
Depending upon how long the stint lasts, the Pop-Tarts Bowl could be an answer I would hear out.
That would be
like to go to the game.
Actually, yes.
It's hard to get like the same teams kind of go to Orlando for like different bowl games, and it's just I don't know. I hear a lot of Iowa State fans who have been to Orlando 100 times. And it's just hard to get
100, Jake.
I
can't like
give it a.
He can't say anything.
Yeah,
he can't say anything.
So I don't know.
You haven't been to 30.
Orlando's not.
Where's the Outback Bowl at? Get him back for that one.
Yeah,
I've always made that.
Apparently, I've actually heard Orlando's not the most fun city to celebrate in, but I've never been.
It's the most magical place on earth.
Yeah, I would go to Disney World after I eat some Pop-Tarts and get a Pop-Tart shower.
That sounds like a bad day.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty great day, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm a child or not. But all right, let's leave that question there. There's our top 3 bucket list games. Let us know yours in the comments. Even if you're listening on replay, let us know that you're here. Drop a comment, drop a like on the video. We appreciate you being here. Let's move on to college football news. Let's lead it off with similar news to we talked last week, gents. Instead of North Dakota State, it's Sacramento State as they join the MAC conference for football only in 2026. There's a lot going on with this. There's tweets from the president. There's pissed off people. There's confused fans. And they owe him a lot of money. $5 million to move up levels from the NCAA. $18 million they will owe the MAC, with $6 million of that being due in year 1 of them joining. And then their president throws out a tweet. And he says, hey, we're getting all this estimated value from the TV networks. Football is covering football. Nobody else. This will actually help our student body. A lot of this money will go back into athletics. I don't know.
It's a lot of hypotheticals.
I don't know what we think about this, but let's go on the general move first. What do you think? This is not a program like North Dakota State that was winning national championships consistently. It's a team that went 7-5 a year ago, and in 2024 went 3-9. But there's a lot of money rolling through that program. So, what are your overall thoughts on the move, GP?
Yeah, I had a couple questions to kind of start this out, right? Should it bother the average fan about like this move in general, that Sac State made the move? Because it feels like it's punched a few more buttons than people, a lot more responses on X and on Threads or wherever, right? Just to the news itself. And everybody kind of wants to give in their 2 cents, especially because the president's so adamant, right? Was pushing it 2 years ago. They wanted to be independent in the FBS. So should the average fan care as much as it's really made out to be? I'm not really sure. And then is the geography and the conference they joined and the stipulations of them joining, is that really what's causing the uproar? Like, is that everything? It's like, it's the MAC that they joined, it's the money they have to pay, it's the money they won't take from the conference. So those are the two things I kind of thought to myself. It's interesting because they kind of say they're not taking any TV deal. I couldn't find the year or amount of time we're not going to take any of that TV money from the conference, but the MAC's TV deal's up after the 27th season. So technically they would only go 2 years if they get a part of that new deal. And I'm sure they think that they're going to help bump that up price wise, like live sports will just go up and then you get a Sacramento market. I don't know how college football thirsty Sacramento is, but to me here, I think a lot of the uproar is based on how much they're paying just to be a part of it. And then if you're going to pay to be a part of it and you claim to be this big wig ready to spend money, the Mountain West wasn't taking you, Pac-12 wasn't taking you, yet landed the MAC. And everybody likes the MAC, but when people have the ability to crap on the MAC, they're going to do it, and they are doing it in this space. Like, this is where they land, and it feels odd that they put this kind of crazy of a push just to land playing teams like Buffalo and UMass and Toledo. It's a little different, I guess. And so it's not, I think Perks, you put, like, it's not shiny like a North Dakota State one, but it is a move that changes a lot, right? It changes a lot for the MAC. If this is a program getting money funded into it, does it become a MAC power? I don't know, because they only had, like, in their history, I think 22 and 23 were their 2 really good years, and then their coach left not too far after that, or went to Stanford.
Troy Taylor.
And it's been average since. So
the Brennan Marion experience went poorly. Let's just put it that
it's
way.
not really growing with popularity. It's not really growing with this thick history and everything. It's a weird one to me. And I think they were just thinking, if we can get in now, we might as well get in now, and we can worry about if we have to move somewhere down the road.
Quickly before Jake goes, one thing I want to mention is, JP, you said it, the MAC is loved by college football fans, like well received. But I think to a level, it is well received for what the MAC is. Like, it's not loved as in, like, this is quality G5 football like the American has given us the last few years. It's loved because you flip it on Tuesday night and there's an 85-yard fumble that Buffalo recovers against Central Michigan in the snow. Like, that is the MAC. And I feel like the timing of the news from North Dakota State, this perennial power, this FCS power, joins in the FBS and can really make a run at the Mountain West. Now, they can't make it until 2028, whatever the hell the rule says that hopefully they beat. We felt like they could be a player immediately. And then Sac State does the same thing, goes into what I would call still a lesser conference than what the Mountain West, even with the powers that they lost, like UNLV would win the MAC, in my opinion. I don't feel like they can compete to the level of what Western Michigan played to this year. So I think just the timing of it really offset college football fans. But overall, JP, you nailed it. Like, the money rolling into this Sac State program is pretty unknown, but it is important for the conference, and they'll make money when they get to this level. But we'll see if the president keeps his job long enough to do so. People are pretty pissed. What do you think on this move, Jake?
It's a lot of assuming, and North Dakota State situation is kind of assuming too, but I think you're really assuming things with the Sac State move. Like, you had the tweet pulled up earlier, and he said, what did he say? Like, economically, we're going to bring in like 725 million people or something like that. And it's like, what are you basing that off of? Are you really assuming that we've seen a lot of these Conference USA games now, guys, where, because Conference USA plays their weeknights in October, and these teams that now were playing rivalry Saturday games in the FCS now are playing a Louisiana Tech on a Tuesday night, and there's 100 people there. Like, how many people are going to go to a Sac State game on a Tuesday night it's probably going to be like 6 o'clock their time, because it'll be 8 o'clock ESPN time for us Midwest people. And it's just like, who's going to and that now, if you win, your attendance will go up.
Out. Repeat. Little light repeat. Bad cutout, but it's okay.
I thought it was lag.
On which part? I'm sorry.
Your last sentence.
I just think that it's going to be tough to get a really solid attendance in when Kent State comes to town on a Tuesday night, unless you're winning. Now, if you're winning, that changes things. But I think the assumption is they have to win right away. They have the money to do so, supposedly. Now they have like this $50 million NIL budget, but that's all assumed. Like that's not confirmed by anybody, at least from what I could find. I brought it up on our YouTube short or whatever, and somebody tweeted this out and made a good point. UCF made the jump to FBS by joining the MAC for 4 years, and it didn't translate right away. They went 10-25, and they had to jump to Conference USA, where then they had success with 2 conference titles and 4 title appearances. There's a lot of pressure on Sac State to win right away. I don't know how the style of football translates to Mount Pleasant in November when it's snowing a ton, but they've got the money and the resources to compete right now. They hit the portal hard. If you've gone back and looked, like they're able to bring in big names. So if you can win right away, awesome. But if you don't, then what's the move? Because we all know publicly, you didn't want to be in the MAC. You wanted to be in the Mountain West. You wanted to be in the Pac-12. And I think it's a long-term game for them. Their president came out and said, well, the MAC wanted us. Yeah, but did you really want them? No, you just want the opportunity to make the jump. And I'm assuming you're trying to get out as fast as you can if you earn your right to be there. We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, the Brendan Marion experience went poorly this year. He was the guy in charge of the go-go offense at UNLV 2 years ago, takes over as head coach. They bring in Jaden Rashada. You guys remember that? They got their butts whooped by South Dakota State earlier in the year. They went 7-5. He jumped ship and is now the offensive coordinator at Colorado. So we'll see if Alonzo Carter can come in and establish something there. But man, like you said, Parks, there's a lot of pressure on that president to you got to win 8-9 games
Probably
next year.
8 games at minimum.
Yeah, that's my expectation for them. Honestly,
we're gonna find out
think so.
if Sac State can last a quarter in Ypsilanti with the Macoon. We're gonna find out.
I just don't think that they're thinking that through of like a California-based team traveling to Central Michigan on a Tuesday night could go ugly real quick. And there were a lot of ugly moments for the Sac State team. It's unbelievable. Reese, any thoughts on Sac State joining the MAC? I mean, the MAC feels like they just are throwing shit at the wall until it sticks, right? UMass, you're in. It didn't work. You're in, Sac State.
It's just not like it's not as sexy. It's the easy way of saying that. It's the MAC. Like it's not like you're joining because Mountain West. You have the Boise State, the Fresno State who's competitive year in a year. Like that team. There's always a team who's like maybe they're going to make a run at the end of the year. The MAC is a team where like we know what this football team, this conference is about. There's no offenses that are going to be high flying and blowing everybody away and scoring 50, 40 points a game. Like it's just not what that is. So I think Schaefer had a great point too. Like attendance is going to be different. Like North Dakota State, like that entire state is bought in on that one team. Sacramento, you're in California. Like I don't know how much they have going on in that city, but I'd imagine the football team might not be the biggest, most important thing. So yeah, like why do you care when Akron comes to town on Tuesday or Wednesday? Or like when are many of your fans from that area traveling across the country to go watch them play? Like probably not. So yeah, give them time, see where it goes, but it's not a sexy jump because it's the MAC. If it was Mountain West or like CUSA or something like that, maybe we'd care a little bit more, but it's the MAC. We just kind of know what this conference is year in, year out.
And honestly, it's a better move for the other sports, in my opinion. If I read it right, I believe all their other sports are going into the Big West.
Yeah.
Which, at least in baseball, that's a good
move. Are they already Big West in other sports? Like right now?
I don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
Probably were Big Sky.
Yeah, that could be.
I feel like they were in the Big Sky. What got lost in all this is they have to pay for the air travel too, or agree to pay for the air travel for all these teams coming into.
I thought I saw that too. I was like, "There's no way that's real." They have to pay for Central Michigan to come to them. That is insane.
Yeah, they're currently playing in the Big Sky.
That's insane.
With charter
with
planes
Mike Bibby as the head coach.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that, and then kind of like the other side of this, if you're any of the Montanas, South Dakota State, Tarleton State, well, you kind of having like this what the hell moment, right? Are you scrambling? Are you kind of looking? Are you looking to just play it out? Maybe it's a year or two more. and you really make a push later, or you look at the really good move that's perceived as a really good move for North Dakota State, and then you looked at what's perceived to not be a great move for Sacramento State to go to the MAC. Are you kind of like, let's weigh our options, people will come find us, and we're going to go that direction? Because that's 4 schools who have all shown the ability to win. Tarleton in a quick turn, that you're going to be wanted. You're going to be a hot commodity, I'm sure.
They're probably going to use this as a baseline, in my opinion, right? You get to watch Sac State join the MAC. You're like, okay, they were at this level when they played with us. They go into the MAC. They're either competitive right away or they're not. Same thing with North Dakota State. Dominance through the FCS ranks. They go in and they're successful in the Mountain West. Maybe a Tarleton's like, all right, we can probably compete to that level right away. If not, maybe we'll try the American, something with bigger, more money, more power, it seems, year over year. But you almost got to use these two as like a baseline for those next men up, because I really, truly think the college football world reacted to this Sac State news because of how recent we got the North Dakota State move. Jake?
No, I completely agree. The timing is poor for Sac State. And yeah, it's a lot of different factors, and like the lack of winning history is another reason why it's perceived to be questionable, because if I read right, Troy Taylor was the only coach to bring them to the FCS playoffs. If I do confirm that correct. And then he left and they were bad, 3-9 one year. And then they last year, again, 7-5, missed the FCS playoffs. So we'll see. I mean, we saw a Missouri State team that struggled in the Missouri Valley to win consistently, and they stepped up in Conference USA and were kind of built for it. I don't know if Sac State's necessarily built for it, but we'll find out.
This is a conversation I wanted to go ahead. JP, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I think we've seen the end of teams bumping backwards. Like, I think it's only
like in Idaho.
Remember? Yeah.
I get relegation back.
Like, went to a point and was like, we've decided that us spending the money to be in the FBS is not the best for this athletic department and for this football program. And because they were perennially really, really bad, like 1 or 2 wins a year, and just kind of sat back and were like, we can go down, let's go play in the Big Sky, tough competition. And then they've been really good, right? Even through coaching changes, they've been really good, and that program's elevated. Nobody's really, like, UMass isn't going to make that step. They're cashing checks. Right, Kent State's not going to make that step. Teams that are I can't say that word.
Perennially. Yep. Now you got me twisted.
That lose a lot, and it's tough, and it's just a program with not a lot of winning tradition. They're never going to take that step back anymore, especially with the volume that people have come up. Like, we had two last year new. The year before that, we had 2 or 3 that were new. You got 2 more coming in for next year in 26. Like, they're just going to cash checks. People got to lose football games, and they just want to see the cash flow coming in.
And that was one thing I wanted to spin the conversation off. Kind of went hand in hand, JP, is when we talked about North Dakota State last week, a point I had thought right after we recorded the show was, I think a big part of it for Mountain West fans and just general G5 viewers is we know North Dakota State, at least while it's shiny and new, is going to show up. And I'm not talking about the team. I'm talking about the fans. Like, we know we're going to get the most out of the Fargo Dome for that first matchup with UNLV, the most. And we talked about it when they joined, is like they were losing steam. They weren't selling out that first round college football playoff game in the FCS because people were just bored and were like, yep, we'll tune in when it's the semifinal and the national championship. What happens if North Dakota State isn't winning at that level? Do you think those same fans are going to show up because now they have a reason? Like, it's not just going to walk through. I think if you can, it's really easy for you to leave when it's not, when it's going extremely well. It's going to be really easy for you to leave when things aren't going well. And Sac State, applying that to that, I mean, their stadium wasn't overly packed the last couple of seasons. Not that you have to be in the MAC, but when it's shiny and new, gents, it's an easy ticket to sell. But when you're paying $18 million and 6 of it up front, you better sell those damn tickets.
And they're trying to, another thing into this, they're trying to find a new stadium. They had, again, with all this money that they assumed they were going to build their own stadium, and that kind of fell through back in 2024, I think. And now they're trying to find, like, I think it's a horse track in town that they're trying to just build upon and like make it its own stadium. So they're trying to improve there. There's just like there's a lot of things in limbo right now there that just feels way less uncertainty. I know I sound like a broken record than the situation in North Dakota State.
Is Sac State a private school? I have no idea.
There's 31,000 enrollment, so I doubt it. I mean, it's a big
school.
It's a big university.
I would doubt that.
So it's got a large endowment then, huh?
It reminds me a little bit of
think harder.
It reminds me a little bit of UCF and their situation, like big metropolitan area, large enrollment. There's money
largest
to be
school
spent.
in the country, by the way.
They're not as brand new to football as UCF is, but they're relative. Like I think they started late 60s, early 70s. So it's just kind of getting started here, and you got to adjust with the times. To JP's point, I don't think South Dakota State's in any rush from this move. It feels like this was a desperation move from Sac State, because if it wasn't desperation, they would have just waited another year or two until they could prove to the Mountain West that, hey, we're ready to take you. And I think the Mountain West would have had they just sat on it for a little bit, but they felt like they needed to do it now.
Yeah, I feel like what I was going to say is like Parks was saying, polish is going to rub off, right? It's just going to become a thing that they play football in the MAC. It's a little easier, right, to get people and get eyes on football in North Dakota and Fargo, North Dakota, than it is to keep people's attention in Sacramento, California, for multiple reasons.
It's a great call. But, I mean, USC and UCLA can barely keep their attention.
Yeah, but for generalities, if you're not winning, you're probably, instead of going online and yelling about it and wanting a coach fired, you're probably more so, and people just won't show up and pay you money. Where at Fargo, if you're not winning and things aren't going well, they probably show up a little less, but they'll still show up. They'll just be vocal, pronouncing and demanding change, and they'll go that way, and then they'll go back through the cycle. I don't know if they have 2 coaching cycles of bad football in the MAC in them as a fan base to keep this thing going. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something that I'm not seeing. Maybe there's something that we're going to learn as they kind of grow. But just a lot of kids that go to your school doesn't mean a lot of kids care about sports and athletics and want to pay attention to their alma mater.
Yeah, I think I was just watching. Where was I watching a video? I think it was somebody on YouTube that had attended like the Harvard or Yale football game on like a Thursday night, and they were just asking students, like, you going to the game tonight? They're simply like, no, I don't go to the games. Like, there is a general population of the student body that does not attend the football games at some of these schools. And I feel like Sacramento State, like JP just mentioned, would be on that list. Any closing thoughts on this? Obviously, we'll cover it throughout the offseason, schedule release, all that good stuff as the Hornets enter the MAC.
I would love for somebody to get on and like defend them. I feel like I haven't seen any internet personalities really jumping to the defense of Sac State.
There's a couple of Twitter accounts that we can make some graphics that I'm aware of that we can reach out to, that maybe they'll give us a better idea on how they truly feel about it.
Them. Yeah, I'd love to hear from them.
All right, let's leave that news there. Sac State joins the MAC conference for 2026. That is that. If you joined us for the YouTube clip, make sure you like and subscribe to the show, as we will cover Sac State football in preview season and throughout the season in the MAC conference. This is the show for you. All right, let's go to the topic of tonight's episode, and that is the 2014 college football playoff. You probably saw the thumbnail, clicked on it, and you're like, what are these assholes talking about? They pushing it? We're not exactly pushing it, but we got to have a conversation, right? Because inevitably, the sport is probably going to expand again. We're selling jersey patches. We're getting close to the NFL. We're making it a national sport, right? A worldwide sport. We're headed to play games in Ireland. Rumors to play games in Brazil.
Well, that's really
probably going to want more teams in the playoff eventually. So we have last year's playoff bracket, what it would have looked like in 2025 into 26 with the same seedings. And fellas, there's a lot of teams that we're about to throw at you. But let's get our overall thoughts while we're looking at this. Do you like the idea? Let's make it blatantly clear for all the listeners. Do you like the idea of 24 teams in the college football playoff? Is it too much? Is it kind of piquing your interest after you get a chance to look at the bracket? Or you're like, hey, man, 12's good. Even 12 is stretching it for me in the first place, JP.
Is this the
league one?
This is fun to look at.
This is like the Pete Thamel one's a little better, because this one has like every G6
version of it.
Yeah, G6 conference title winner being in there, and that would not.
Okay. This says all 9 conference winners in it, which honestly, they would have to do that.
Proposal one. Gotcha.
No, they
would
would
not
have to do that.
and they would not do that. They would simply say 23-1, 2 at most.
Yeah, I can get you while you guys are talking.
That's what they said.
I like this version better if we are going to do it, because you got to reward conference champions. You give them a chance.
It's crazy how we're even having.
They win the MAC.
We're already going to this 24, and we're already debating which team should be in and which team should be out.
Based
I do want to watch I'll play Miami. You bet your ass I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Based on the Pete Thamel tweet,
Michigan and Tuscaloosa, that would go great.
on who actually would be in this year and the new rules. I think it's the Big Ten who's proposing.
They had
last year. Last year would have gotten, the SEC would have gotten 7 teams in. The Big Ten would have gotten 6. The Big 12 would have gotten 5. ACC would have gotten 3. And your G6 independents would have been 3, being Notre Dame, James Madison, and Tulane.
This is fun. Like, this is fun in theory to look at. But I mean, I think you could argue this year, like going into the 12-teamer, I think you could, before it even started, you probably could have argued that there was 10 teams that could have legitimately won it. Maybe you could argue like Alabama, maybe not. Or if you want to argue that Notre Dame could have, because even they were left out. Like, if you're looking at this, like, there's just how many teams are you genuinely thinking have a shot at like running the table? Because also, like, I think that's a huge factor that goes into it too. And then also, like, we already have this schedule. We're having issues with the schedule, and it's a 12-teamer. Imagine the schedule if we did 24 teams. Like,
yeah, because that schedule
we're having a 12-team playoff take over a month. Imagine if we're doing 24. Like, you're gonna have to change the portal. You're gonna change coaches. You're gonna change all this shit for the school. Like, yes, in theory, this is a fun graphic to look at. This is your March Madness closest thing you can look at or whatever. But, like, I think long-term for the sport, for the school, for these players, like, I think this would be more of a detriment because so much is going to have to change. We've already seen how much change just from this 12-team playoff with NIL and portal and all that stuff. Like, imagine if we're getting these 24, like, you're going to have guys jumping ship. Like, granted, James Madison as a 21 seed here, they did have a shot at winning this thing. Maybe not. But it's like you're going to have guys jumping ship here earlier to maybe go jump to one of these teams that's a higher seed next year, or guys that are going to be leaving earlier that they don't think are going to play. Like, I think you're just going to have more of a detriment than you are any positive from this thing.
Yeah. I think the flaw in a lot of this is that people always like, well, more football is bad. Do we just not, you don't think these matchups are good? There's a billion and one ways to find good matchups. That's why non-conference games existed for like a long time and why they're starting to get canceled more. Yes, you're going to find good matchups. That's not the point, right? There's going to be first round ones that look awesome, right? Utah, Michigan sounds awesome. JMU going to Provo, that's awesome. Arizona, USC, awesome. But then you're stuck with
you have that conference game over here.
Yeah, Western Michigan at Alabama, Kennesaw at Miami. I mean, there's going to be more of those in what we've seen in this situation than just be like circle. It sounds like a good game. Why can't Duke and Vandy play in a non-con earlier in the year? That makes sense. They're pretty much in the same level of both their conferences, right? One of them was 10-2, had a shot to get in the SEC title. One of them was a conference champion. The only reason this has any real pros or cons or selling points is so TV execs and commissioners can make more money,
and your team can get in.
Yeah. Sell this idea or this thing for coaches, right, who get incentives and get to not care about anything but their school, that you got into the playoff. Well, if I keep printing off 24, 36, 48, whatever amount of teams get in the playoff, it's a little less cool for me to say that, right? Like, I think Pate made the point was like, if we were in a 24-team playoff, Oklahoma State would have been in this thing 7-8 times over the last 10, 11 years. Is that as pretty? Like, I'm not saying it, not a knock on Oklahoma State, but you saying that, being able to say that alongside an Oregon that would have been there quite a few times, like, those programs are not on the same level, right? And Oregon's earned the right to be there a lot more often than Oklahoma State has. Like, that loses the value of it. So to me, it's not practical, right? And so obviously they float this idea and it's an internal document. I'm sure it's a work in progress, but they are serious about it to a point, right? They want more, probably closer to 16, but I wouldn't put it past them to pitch 24 and be dead serious about it.
Big Ten's dead serious.
Yeah. But the whole point is, like, Reese made a good point in the schedule too. Like they're going to implement this, but they're not going to get rid of conference title games. They're going to implement this, but they're not going to move the schedule up because they have enough weeks and they want inventory for more time throughout the year. So if anything, this gets pushed later into February or later into January, into early February. And they're just like, oh, well, we're good because now we have some inventory in this time slot, not this time. We can get to the Masters and then we can get to the 500 and we can kind of sit there and we can just kind of fill it all up. When that is not best for anybody but the people printing money, right? Who don't care, who probably played lacrosse in college or played whatever. They don't care about the fans. They're not pulling people in the streets who spend the money to be at these things. They're talking to the same 15 talking heads who don't care and vacation in Cabo every other weekend.
And there's 2 points to build off that. I think one main point being exactly what you just said is it would extend the season, and the only way it wouldn't, because they're definitely not getting rid of conference championship games with the ratings behind those, it would eliminate some bye games, which hurts the G5. But you want them to be a part of this, especially in this look from college football rivalries, less than obviously the Pete Thamel Big Ten proposed one. Mm-hmm. But even going through this list is my second point. I'm looking at the first round matchups. There is maybe 2 games that have a single-digit spread. And when I say single-digit spread, I'm including 9.5. Those 2 games being Michigan, Utah, Duke, Vanderbilt.
Okay. No, Arizona, USC.
No,
yeah, Arizona,
10.
USC.
Do you think?
No,
I don't know.
way.
There's some
It's
bad
10
spots for Arizona
I
this
don't
year.
know about that.
Wait a minute.
Where's the makeshift line guy? But sure,
Duke
I can do that one. Other than that, I can
look that up.
Not Duke Vanderbilt.
Duke Vanderbilt would. I mean, Duke won the ACC, for God's sake.
I do have a way that you could make this fit into the calendar if we were really getting serious about it.
You're a calendar guy.
But it does include getting rid of the conference championship games, which why are we?
I'm cool with it.
What do you? What do you mean? No. What's? Tell me the point of a conference title game with 24 teams in the playoff.
I don't care. I don't want the 2014 playoff. There is no point to conference title games for a 2014 playoff, but I don't want this.
That's my point. And if you got rid of the conference title games, you start that as the first round, and you play the first 3 Saturdays of December. Then you're into the semifinals. You can take a week off and play the semifinals still on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then you can actually finish the national title up earlier than it's going on right now. But we know they won't do that because they want to drag this thing along as much as they can, because they have already. But there is a way to do it. There's a simplified calendar that makes sense, but people running this sport don't like to put common sense into things. I, believe it or not, I'm not anti-expansion on this 2014 playoff. I'm actually not.
Wow.
But what I am anti is everything else that's going to come along with it. Bowl games are going to be absolutely meaningless. They're going to have a bad rep to their name. How many bowl games do you really even have at this point if you're going to throw 24 teams?
You'd have to get rid of the bye games. I don't think they touch the bowl games.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think
I know. I don't think you touch the bowl games either. But at that point, you're putting in numerous 5-win Power 4 conference teams in these weird bowl games. Like a 6-win team is going to be playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl now, and that just is no fun. That eliminates all of the fun from the Pop-Tarts Bowl that we enjoy. There's going to be more bullshit neutral site games. I don't know about this one. I think this
would be 2 rounds of home games.
2 rounds of home games. Yep. And then they move into your BCS
Sugar Bowl,
bowls or whatever.
6, yep.
Conference championships are going to stick around, Parks. I agree. They're going to make it so there's whether they make it as a play-in game between the 5th and 6th seed of a conference to get into that 2014 playoff. I don't want that. That sounds horrible. That has
like
no
the
interest
NBA
in what's
in-season tournament or whatever
the play-in tournament that they do right now in the NBA. So that's going to come along. And then the other thing that we're not even thinking about is the toxic fan bases in the turnover that's going to come along with this. If you move to a 2014 playoff, every single Power 4 conference team now is playoff or bust. And if you don't make it within the first 2 or 3 years of a coaching era, they're going to get rid of you. They're like Nebraska would fire Rule so fast if he couldn't make a 2014 playoff. Like let's just be honest here. Iowa,
True.
if Kirk Ferentz wasn't around, like if a new guy comes around, he can't make a 2014 playoff, the same thing would go there. And that's not good for programs. It's not good for fans who, like, as an Iowa State fan, you had to watch a ton of turnover to your roster this year because you lost a coach. That would happen to programs who don't make this playoff every 3 years. And the interest from fan bases is going to get completely lost when you're turning over 60-man rosters every couple of years. That sounds horrible. If you did it the right way, there is a way to do this, but I don't trust that they will. So in that case, I'm not pro 2014 playoff, but there's a way to do it where this actually, I think, could be fun. If you include, like this year, it would be 2 G6 teams because JMU and Tulane were both ranked in the top 25. I wholeheartedly agree you could get in if you're ranked in the top 25 at that point. But I don't know, like, if they have multiple G5 teams in it every single year. They're not going to do every single conference champion. They're not going to do that. Yeah. So I think what comes along with this is really, really bad. And I think JP made the point, you're getting away from like Vandy scheduling a Duke in the non-con, because they'll be like, well, if we just make the playoff and we play UMass 3 times a year and we win 6 SEC games, then we'll play Duke. Then we'll get that game in. And that's diminishing the Saturday games in September, October, November. Yeah. That is what the sport's about. That is what it's about. And you'd be getting rid of that as well.
It does diminish those games wholeheartedly throughout the regular season. But another point it adds is similar to the NFL, which, as much as I hate it, and probably majority of college football, what they call purists, would hate it, it's becoming similar to it. It's leading into that territory where what is the number where you hit it, right? You hit 8 wins, 9 wins, and you have a few games left outside of rivalry week where you're like, I'm going to play this true freshman quarterback so my guy doesn't get banged up in our first round playoff game, where you're going to lead into opt-outs in the middle of your season because we're reaching that point where this is a team that's making it. They're in the 24. Who gives a shit what happens?
Yeah, rivalry week loses a lot of zest at the top of the charts here. Iowa State looks pretty good week 2 still. But you look at how this would be handled.
If Iowa State beat Iowa, I'd almost storm the Marsh Street, or that'd be an important game.
If you knew the street name, it'd be a good comeback. Just stick to real talk.
Nobody fucking know those streets.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hey, it's a good party scene. I'll give you that. I've never had a bad time in Ames on Welsh. The thing with this as well is I've seen people talk about how they feel the 12 was kind of diminished the regular season, and it has to a point. You can't say, like, I think for the most part it hasn't, because you've seen 10-2 teams not get in. Like 10-2 doesn't guarantee you in. Yeah. So if it continues to stay in this road and we're dealing with a lot of transfer portal stuff, the NIL, people are staying at schools, there's more money to go around, right? We're seeing more teams have more success. It's kind of what we've seen, right? The combo of the 12-team playoff and the portal and NIL all lining up elevated this experience. If this is the 12-team playoff with none of that, like if we're in the world of 18-19 college football, you're dealing with the same 4 programs that are winning national titles every year. That's not the case right now. But going to a 24 in this case, to me, you would completely diminish that, right? You made a good point, Parks. Like, we've lost 2 games. We're in, buddy. Like 9-3 rights, you can pencil yourself and pen yourself in as a Big Ten SEC school. You can't do that now. 10-2 is not a guarantee in the 12-team playoff. Vanderbilt was like, dude, we are an onside kick or a good first half against Texas away from being in. Sitting at 11-1, except we're 10-2 and we have 2 good losses. Yeah, like that sucks, but that's part of it, and that's how it should be. It shouldn't be easy. And Notre Dame would be a shoe-in every single year. They would stop scheduling anybody non-conference. They would literally play.
Do that.
They'd sit at 9-3 and be like, "You're not gonna rank us. I dare you not to rank us and put us in this." That would have to go away. The uptick, I think the Big Ten pitched this in their fine print or whatever, like talking about it. It said the Big Ten claims more uptick in relevant regular season games. Laughable.
Yeah, what's their point to that? How I would like to hear how they think that.
I would like them to go back to this season's schedule, take the end of the year results, and be like, okay, see, this game mattered more. This game mattered more. This game mattered more. Because
They're probably
you're saying
claiming
they
that
weren't
across
mattering?
the board, more people will be eligible for the playoffs longer throughout a season. Like even if you're stand at 7-3 or 6-3, that you still have a chance to make the college football playoff when even through 12
I think
teams
you
are
still
eliminated.
do.
That's probably their stance. I'm not saying I agree with it.
Yeah.
But that's probably their stance. It's like there is a longer portion of the
that's
season
that
where you're
argument,
eligible
yeah.
to make the 24.
That's that argument.
Well, that argument sucks. And
It does.
the bozos
If you
running
turn your team off when they're 6-3, you're not watching Play the Fight song. So I don't feel bad telling you you're an athlete.
It's possible. Like this is possible. The FCS has done it for years. It's attainable. The FCS also doesn't have conference title games. Like how much?
136, 138 teams now.
38 teams.
Which I think which makes it
So many.
more of an argument to say that there should be an expanded playoff because there's so many teams in the FBS.
No, there's so many because there's so many, not because there's so many living on the same playing field.
I think it goes back to our Sac State point. I think a lot of these teams are making jumps now because they're waiting for this 2014 playoff to come to fruition. I think they're getting word that it's going to happen and they want to be included.
There is a much more, we could say this, right? Like there is a much, I don't even know the correct grammar to say this, much more of a level playing field at the FCS level across the board than there ever will be at the FBS level. Like there's not a drastic fall off like there is from an Ohio State to a UMass as there is from a North Dakota State to Incarnate Word.
But there is a North Dakota State to a Florida A&M or something like that. A North Carolina
FCS would be
the anti-24 argument too would be like South Dakota State's a good example who lost their quarterback middle of the year. I think they went 6-5, maybe 8-4, something like that, and they still made the playoff just because they were given the benefit of the doubt that it'd be like an SEC school who loses their
Missouri Valley. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, so we would see that with SEC teams, like who lose a quarterback for the middle of November and they go 8-4. Like those teams would be getting in, and people would be throwing a riot.
We would be bargaining for 9-3 Arizona. People would be bargaining for 9-3 Texas or 8-4 whoever. Right, that's who they'd be like going to bat for. It'd be like, hey, yeah, but look what they did, right? But then you'd be looking at Arizona.
8-4 Iowa would be also a team that people were going to bat for.
How many games would your national champion, like if somebody went undefeated, or would they have just one game 18. Or 2 more games? It's 18. I'm like, yeah, we're like,
because if you talk about Indiana full schedule like a Miami did, where they ended up playing the national title with 17 games. 17 if they had to play in that first round, they'd have to win it all the way through and play 18.
But Indiana played in a conference title game, so they technically had that extra game too. So it's like, because you say you're playing your conference title game, and you do all this, like we thought 16-0 sounded crazy. Imagine 18-0.
You know what's funny? That just came to my mind. I'm already exhausted about listening to those shows that talk about like who are the 26th, 27th team that could be in, that should be in. You know what would have happened this year had they done it, according to Pete Thamel's hypothetical? Iowa got in as a 24 seed.
Yeah.
Who's to say like Iowa State?
That's who they'd be going to bat for.
And who's to say Iowa State shouldn't have gotten in over Iowa because they won the head-to-head? That's like a hypothetical argument that you know what I mean?
That argument would have been exactly as you're saying it, but they would have said, yeah, but look at Iowa's wins in the conference they played.
Right.
And probably should have been as simple as,
there's always going to be bubble teams. I don't care if it's 24 or 64.
That's what I'm saying. There's always going to be this bubble thing.
There's a play-in game for a tournament where there's 100 or how many teams make it? 68 teams make it at the end of the year for college basketball. Like there's really a play-in for that.
And they're trying to.
That's different. That's different on the specifically on. Yes.
Because when is enough, Jordan? Because they're trying to get the NCAA tournament to be 70 teams. So if they get to 24, who's stopping them from trying to get to 28?
Round of 32s next. Round of 32s after 24, baby. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but it's a play-in, but you've made the NCAA tournament if you get into a play-in game.
But it's crazy how they have like play-in for 16 and they have play-in for 11 seeds. Like imagine like for this 2014 playoff, whatever, they had like Duke and whoever the hell are going to play for the 11 seed to be into the 2014 playoff, and somebody else can have a play-in to be the 2014. Like imagine if they had that shit. Like that'd be crazy. Like that makes I don't get that.
23, don't worry about it.
It's crazy.
11, we got to see. That would be
crazy.
the basketball one though. Like the 11 seed thing is kind of odd that they have.
I don't get
like, you're
that.
back for 11 seeds, but they are the last 4 in is the entire idea of it, right? It's also you get more. Like North Carolina played in one last year. That makes sense. The other ones are the 16s that are small schools, and I've gone backwards on the stand. I was initially like, they won their conference tournament, they're in it. We don't have to do this play on thing. But if they win that 16v16 game, which is in all likelihood outside of the 2 times it's happened and 1 billion times the game's been played, they earn a lot of money for their school, and they get to say they had an NCAA tournament win. Like that's the difference. Is like this wouldn't be that situation. You don't get money necessarily. There's not a package waiting for you to sign if you won a college football play-in game, and it would be a playoff game, just like the play-in games in Dayton are. They're NCAA tournament games. You call them for what they are. There's a billion people watching this Tuesday and Wednesday night before the tournament starts Thursday.
Yeah.
For clarification, as we close tonight's show, all 4 in this show are against the 2014 college football playoff. Correct?
Like I said,
like
before.
this.
Correct.
Yeah, like this.
It's a lot more than
yes or no?
And what would come of it? I just don't trust the people in charge. I think it could.
Awesome.
I genuinely think it could be done correctly, and it could be a lot of fun. But I don't trust them to do that.
I have one more point, and I'll be quick with it. We haven't seen the 12-team playoff enough to know really what it's done or to help or hurt the sport. Right? Yeah. It's been around for 2 years. If you're going to switch it in 2-3 years, you'll never have known what it did for the sport, how it hurt the sport. The 14 playoff wasn't around very long, and you could say at the bones of it helped the sport get to the point now where NIL and things like that kind of came into play, but it wasn't there long enough to be really studied. The 12-team playoff, we don't have any idea the ramifications down the road on what this looks like 10, 15 years down the road. And we're like, oh, this is what it's done for the sport. You jump to 24 now, 10 to 15 years from now, people aren't going to give a crap about a 2014 playoff. They're going to be like, oh, we made it. Okay, we expected to. Why are we only winning 1 game in it now? It just you're changing the ladder and the expectation for certain programs. What that is.
All right, let's leave that there. That's the 2014 college football playoff. Let us know in the comments whether you agree with it, disagree with it, what model you like. If you do like a model, shout out to College Football Rivalries on X for that graphic that we used. I tagged him in it on Twitter. If you're not following us on Twitter or X, follow us at Play the Fight Pod, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. We're everywhere. So we appreciate you being here. Smash the subscribe button. Hit the like button on this video. We will see you next week where we'll cover another great offseason topic. I believe we're going to be on coaches next week. Top 5 coaches in the sport we will rank for next week's episode. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Jake, take her away.
Have a great rest of your week. Let's play it.